Okay, viewer, I have something for you to think about. Say this here is you.
Hi.
Stupid and ugly.
Aww.
But what if I said you could change that? By playing Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion.
What the fuck?
Hey, how's it going? Me here. You ever just scroll through a digital game storefront of some kind and see a game that just sounds so stupid you just have to play it?
That shit is fucking trash, dog.
Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Yeah, that's the real name of this game. That is, in fact, real, and it might just be one of my favorite games of all time. I know I exaggerate a lot, but I mean it 1000%. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion released back in April of 2021 by Snoozy Kazoo and published by Graffiti Games. So yeah, an indie game. But that's not important. What is important is how good this game is, because I think it's really good. This game is a game I strongly believe you should play with as little knowledge about it as possible. So if you've never played it, maybe wait before watching this video and go play the game for yourself. It's about $15. Go buy it. What are you doing? So anyways, I don't have much of an intro for this, so fuck it. Let's just get into the game. The game opens up showing a tax bill, showing you that you owe the government taxes. And the only thing you can do is straight up rip the paper and move on with your life, just like you do in real life. And you get confronted by an onion who happens to be the mayor, and just going to take a guess here and say he might be a bit pissed.
Oh, Turnip Boy, you really screwed yourself now. What do you mean, what? You committed tax evasion.
And as the name of the game suggests, we play as the titular Turnip Boy, and for avoiding taxes, we get forced into doing the mayor's bidding. The only response Turnip Boy can give, however, is a bunch of question marks. He doesn't talk. And now we are on our way to start a truly interesting adventure. Picking up our first item, a watering can. Whenever you pick up a new item, you get to hear a little tune and get a funny description of the item. It's cute. Sometimes you get something funny, sometimes you get something helpful, sometimes you get something stupid. You never know what you're gonna get. Before we go on, I decided to talk to the other NPCs nearby and get one of your first, I want to say a side quest, but I'm pretty sure it's a main one. There's not many side quests in this game, but that doesn't matter. The quest we have is to use our watering can to grow a flower and to give it to the strawberry because this blueberry is in love with them, I guess. And if you give it to the strawberry, they give you a note that immediately can just be ripped up. But going back to the blueberry, they give you a hat as a reward, which would be the first of many. There's many hats in this game. You can find this forest here, and there are snails that are moving in a predictable pattern. They are vegetarians, so unfortunately they can hurt you. But as you make your way through this forest, there's a flyer saying that you are wanted for tax evasion, but you are only worth $1 to them, so I don't think anyone is going to bother turning you in. There is this plant that if you use your watering can on, and boom, you now have a sword. This is your form of defense against enemies and how you can kill the snails, including Jerry, who forgot to pay his rent. The sword can not only kill snails named Jerry, who forgot to pay their rent, but also can destroy plants that may be blocking your path. This game also has its own dodge roll thing. Yes, this game is the Dark Souls of turnip games. Why are you surprised? In here, you can discover these like bomb plant things that what you do is use your watering can and they can just explode. You can even run into a new enemy in this game, the worm. You are not my friend. And then you find some new equipment, which are boots that let you move the boom blooms, which, yeah, that's what the plants are called, I guess. Yeah, you can just move them and explode stuff even more. You can even fight pigs. These guys actually attack different. They kind of just charge at you, but then go idle for a second, then get back into charging you again. And they take more hits than the snails and the worms, so it's definitely interesting. There's also this little puzzle with the boom blooms to open up this door. It's not much of a puzzle. It's nothing too complex, but it puts the mechanics of the boots, the watering can, and the boom blooms to good use in my opinion. And here we get the first boss fight of the game, King Pig. His attacks are basically just like the one pig you just fought before him. Not a very challenging fight, especially if you use the boom blooms on him, because that will make the fight take less than a minute. For what it is, it's an alright boss fight. Beating him, however, gives you a heart fruit, which increases your health by 1 heart. which is a very necessary item, you will come to find out if you play this game. You also find the fertilizer, which is something the mayor sent you to go find in the first place. I didn't disclose that, but who cares? The game is honestly just really funny. Of course, humor is subjective. However, so is everything else I say, so who really cares? It definitely feels like it has that Gen Z or like chronically online kind of humor. And if you watched a single one of my videos, you know that's mostly what my humor is. So for me, that's perfect. After getting the fertilizer to the mayor, you are given another quest from him. And yeah, that's pretty much the main goal. You just do stuff for him for the most part. But I want to take a second to step away from the actual story, I guess you could say, and talk about the man, the myth, the legend himself, Turnip Boy. A turnip of few words. Whenever having any dialogue with literally anyone, he responds without words. And he's just a menace to society because of it. I personally believe he should be added to Smash. Honestly, if they make another Smash game, add him to the game, he would be broken. The most inconsiderate asshole in the history of mankind, and he's great. I love him. There's nothing much to him. He doesn't really have a character arc in this game at all. Or any depth. The game as a whole doesn't have any depth, but that's great, honestly. You can find a lost baby in a trash can. And yeah, that baby can be traded for a stool. That is all that this child's soul is worth to this person. The stool can be used to get into this house, which on the inside seems dark and scary. But it plays this hilariously unfitting music, but I won't lie, it's a bop. All the music for that matter is. The soundtrack is quite honestly just such a vibe and very upbeat. It feels nice to listen to. There is new enemies in this disgusting house, like whatever this thing is, and a donut, and a big guy that just looks to grab you. He can't seem to keep his hands to himself. There are these square plants that if you use your water bucket on, can spawn a square. I think that's a watermelon. This can be used to block boom blooms, which is needed for some of the puzzles you need to do here to break the boards down to unlock more areas. In this icebox area, you can find different kinds of foods in here, trying to hide from these strange creatures. And there's a mission board that has, you guessed it, missions for you to complete. You can meet this nurse that I think compliments you. I'm not really sure. And can even meet the Pickled Gang, who will be important later on. Maybe not in this game, but they are cool. He brings up a name, Don Turnipicino. Who is that? No idea. I guess just some mob family business. Maybe it'll be important later. After exploring more of the house and doing quests, you get your next boss fight. Rotten Cat Apple. Their attack is spinning around and bouncing off walls. I think they have an issue with themselves. After turning on the power, the monsters are all gone, and then random people just appear, like this macaroni noodle man. He seems nice.
What the heck did you say about me, you little turnip? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Paso Seals, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on the barn, and I have over 300.
You get a fork after doing all those missions in the house, one that you unfortunately have to give to this dumbass onion. Now, as you can tell, there is so much more dialogue to be had, many more quests to be done, but I'm just gonna skip over them for the sake of time, and because this is not a replacement for playing the game. As I said in the intro, I highly recommend playing this if you haven't already, so you can experience any of the stupid stuff that I may not cover here. Later on, there is another wanted poster for Turnip Boy, but instead of the reward being $1, they upped it to $2. Still can't afford a McChicken with that. There is this deer enemy. He doesn't do much. Just like the pig, he just charges at you. But you can also find these plants where if you water them, it creates a portal. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Portal if it was good. We now have our third boss fight. It is with a big deer. It's a fine enough boss fight. I will glaze the fuck out of this game till the day I die, but yeah, I'm not too crazy about these boss fights. Not that they have to be anything of note, for this game at least in my opinion, but they exist, and I guess you could say they aren't that bad. His attacks here are just him charging at you, or at least attempting to, and shooting stuff at you. Nothing too crazy, very simple boss fight. He's also not very hard either. We are rewarded with a heart fruit and some green goop that the mayor needs. And you know, you're probably wondering what the mayor needs all these weird items for. Well, you will find out whenever this video comes to an end. In the next part of the game, we can go through a graveyard. This part at first was confusing as hell for me though. After about 2 minutes of being an idiot, I did figure it out. Pretty much just gotta guess the path, but nothing else too crazy besides that. Also, you can fight Ghost here. How the hell is that possible? Do not question the Turnip Man. There's even a part with the pumpkins telling you the directions, however, only one of them is right, so Have fun. Oh yeah, did I mention there's an item that can spawn portals? Guess I forgot, but yeah, it's pretty cool. As a person that loves making portals, I approve of it. In the graveyard, you and this potato man find a golden shovel, so the man gives you his, and now you have a shovel, which replaces your soil sword. And it's just a better melee weapon overall, so it's a win-win. The next area we enter is a bunker. We see a shadow woman. Is it reality, or is it the schizophrenia kicking in? We will never know. He's a turnip! Whether she is real or not does not matter, however, as these zombie beans try to kill you. Yeah, zombie beans. As you make your way through the bunker, you can make a terrible discovery. Oh no, a shadow man! You guys think he's ever played Geist for the GameCube? There is a newspaper in a room that says bombs dropped. Does this mean Turnip Boy is canon to Oppenheimer? I should have known. Anyways, you can fight a rotten ham. Bottom text. There is a note in this other room that reads, Dear Diary, what's poppin'? It's Liz again. It's day what, 1105? I thought we would be back home by now. Why the hell do I hear Jack Harlow? Now here is like our 4th boss fight. With Liz, I got really angry at this boss fight. Now what does she do? Oh, what does she do? What doesn't she do? She grabs you, she slams you, she throws up, she grabs you, she hits you with a lead pipe. Did I mention she grabs you? Definitely an interesting boss fight. I wouldn't say bad because I don't think any of them are, but this is definitely the most engaging one we've had up to this point. Can't exactly rely on Boom Blooms to speedrun this fight, however, but it's also probably the most infuriating, at least in my opinion. Beating Liz, then you get the laser pointer, which you must give to the mayor, and we get a crazy plot twist. Yeah, I mean, it isn't really much of a surprise, considering he was making you do stuff against your will. But he committed tax evasion. You don't get it. He's just misunderstood. Here we find out that Turnip Boy is the son of Don Turnippuccino, a name that I said would be important later. See, guys? Foreshadowing. It's so cool. Turns out Turnip Boy's father was a mobster alongside the Mayor Onion and this old man Lemon, and they ran a crime family. No, I'm not kidding. And apparently there was also a base underneath Turnip Boy's greenhouse for some reason, which is the only reason why you lost your house in the first place, I guess. That's what I got from it. We now discover this mysterious mafia base. There is quite a bit of a puzzle, like stuff you need to do in here to get through the base, using stuff like Boom Blooms, watermelon, portals, and all that. But once you get past that, we then get our 5th and final boss fight of the game, the Mayor Onion. But first, no, not a word from our sponsor, dipshit. Aww. We fight the Radish Trio, but they take one hit and boom, dead. And then we fight the Corrupt Onion. He chases you, swinging a fork, and can shoot a laser. He also pukes too for some reason. Not a bad fight at all. Not the most challenging, at least. It's still hard, but at least in my opinion, not as bad as Liz. Upon beating the Corrupt Onion, you can rip up the deed. For reasons I don't quite know. And that's the end of the game. Or is it? Turns out, no, it isn't. This was not actually the ending that I got when I played. There is a real ending, and I got it by accident just by collecting every document and ripping them up. This is what really goes down. So we have to fight a god. This is the real final boss fight. It's a bit of a challenge. He throws a bunch of shit at you, and you must go and talk to the Radish Trio, and each and every one of them sacrifices themselves to kill the Onion. You then have to kick a Boom Bloom at the nerd one, who happens to be the last one, and he dies. You rip up the deed again, and that's the end of the game. And that was Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. But wait. There's more. Sometime after launch, the game got a big update. Not only with more hats, of course, but adding Sunset Station. Which, basically, this Sunset Station is just a side mode that acts sort of like a roguelike, kind of. You go in, clear rooms of enemies, and move on as it progressively gets harder and harder, even getting a boss fight with the conductor guy. And I'll admit, this is a pretty good boss fight in my opinion. He's a ninja that does ninja things. He is a challenge, but once you play against him once, you will pretty much understand his attack patterns. And it does add a bit more replayability to the game. By itself, it definitely does have a tiny bit of replayability, but in my opinion, not very much. And that is Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. It's not a very deep game, nor does it try to be. It's silly, it's fun, it's very charming, with some extremely simple gameplay. that honestly could appeal to the casual audience. It does have a bit of a challenge, but it would be more classified as a skill issue rather than challenge half the time. It has a lot of personality, albeit stupid as hell, but personality nonetheless. This is a game I just absolutely adored when I first played it. I love it. It's a personal favorite of mine. It's only $15, so if you have some spare change, I recommend picking it up because it's fun. In my opinion, it's one of the greatest games released this decade. And no, I'm not kidding. And that's it. That's all I have left to talk about in this video. My next video, no, it is not a ranking video, despite how much I probably should make one, but instead I will be covering the recently released sequel, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, which is kind of the reason I covered this one. I've beaten both games as of recording this. Not going to share my thoughts on the sequel until I make the next video, but I felt like I should cover this game first, if I was to cover the sequel. Also, shout out to all my homies for chipping in and voicing some of the stupid dialogue just for fun. It was a stupid idea that I had. If you thought it was dumb, good for you. But I found it funny. Also, I noticed that I reached 1,000 subscribers. That's funny. Thank you guys. It means a lot, really. I love doing this and I want to continue it. So seeing the growth I've had over one fucking video. The video wasn't even all that. Why that one? But thank you guys. And that's all I have left to say. Like the video for more Turnip Boy, subscribe for content. Not even good content, just content. And if you enjoyed the video, good. Now goodbye.